it's close enough. You know, anybody that's late, will just have to get started late. Let's start with approval of the minutes.
I move that we approve the
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's done. President's remarks. What I would like to do is just hold, I'm not gonna say anything, I would like to have Gary tell us about what happened in 2012 with this Miller-Dodson study. I may be Chicken Little, but I see a lot of problems with this study. And apparently, well, I just found out now, it never registered, but they did it in 2 parts in 2012. They did one study for STD money and one study for covenant fees and mandatory fees, and so you maybe had something that made more sense or not. But in this year's study, they didn't mention STD funds at all. And so I'm a little confused. Gary, can you tell us what happened in 2012?
Well, in 2012, as it relates to the study or to county's response,
Both.
where do you want me to go?
Well, both, a little bit of reaction to the study and the county's response.
Well, we threw away the STD part. We never did anything with that. We only looked at the part two that had to do with this. We threw it away. We just ignored it. So we only looked at the part of the study that had to do with real property. This clubhouse, I think we threw the beach in there too, because the county wouldn't let us
Probably,
have that be
yes.
part of
Right.
the STD.
Right.
And the program. Basically, all we cared about, and we talked about funding it and tried to fund it. There were lots of years we didn't, because we didn't need a lot of money for that at that time. But
Where did they put all the road repair, I mean, the heavy, the high ticket items, where did they put that? Did they put
we
it
didn't
in?
put it under STD.
Well, that's not the way they did it this
Yeah,
year.
well, yeah, that's,
This year.
I can't speak to this year, I don't know. But back then, they did separate it out, and it was part of the STD, as I remember. And because of that, we paid no attention to it, because, you know, now, to what the county did, really had nothing to do with our reserve study. It had to do with us having more funds than we could spend, or would spend, maybe is a better way to put it. So we developed, and this is probably how you get confused, a large reserve of STD funds. And we had several property owners who knew the commissioners personally in their ear saying, these guys are not spending the money properly, that they've done a shuck and jive routine, they told us we're gonna turn the roads over, and then they didn't buy them. And they're not spending the money, and I think they're misappropriating it. So the commissioners said, okay. When the STD was up and to be renewed, they said instead of 196
Something like that.
per property, it went to 50. And they made us spend down the reserve, and that was when I came in and we spent it. And then we were broke. And then we got a new STD and it worked out okay. But yeah, we weren't paving roads like we should have been.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Gary. We spent down the reserve, which was about $247.5, as I recall.
Yeah.
That was over and above what we were collecting as time went on, and from tax revenues. But it was building up at the county. That was an amount over and above that and Robin and the guy that was there at the time, can't think of his name.
Tim?
Yes, allowed us to do that. They didn't see a problem with it. They got in a lot of trouble, Robin in particular, for allowing us to have that reserve. So
It was never a reserve. That was the whole thing. There was never really a reserve, because the way that funds are collected, they're collected by the county holds them, it's still like that today. And they dole it out as you come in with a request to spend it, or a receipt or whatever. The STD, right. So there wasn't any reserve. We didn't have our hands on it. It was all
Well, this
all
report,
put on us
It's like
by,
an earmark, you know, for reserve.
but this report expects us to have this huge chunk of money that's just sitting there idly, waiting for things that we're already getting paid for by the STD. This is like a standalone
Yeah,
for a year ahead.
the way this thing is written this time, it literally, I think, is asking us to establish a reserve account and to put money into it to the amount that they want, which is like $195,000, without taking into account the STD funds, which will cover most of those costs. So, you know, it's.
this reserve study says that?
Yes.
Yes.
And then you got the state law, the new state law.
Yeah.
It says
Yeah.
we must follow whatever.
But we don't know,
I throw it out and get a new one,
the thing is, well,
That's,
because that's useless. You
one of
can't-
the things is, section D on this report, I have a list of a bunch of, like, I went through that line item by line item, and I have a bunch of things I think we need to provide for
Some
in
is
the
stupid.
reserves. And some of them are STD covered, and some of them have to do with the house here, including remodeling the kitchen,
Yeah, well,
which
I
is
mean,
really a lunchroom, it's not a kitchen per se.
remodel the microwave, the sink,
It's ridiculous.
Well,
It's ridiculous.
what did I say? I think
It's
your reserve
ridiculous.
study's
Here's the
junk.
thing, what are we obligated to do
Right.
legally?
That's
you know.
like-
Legally,
You
we
say
have,
that,
They're saying,
we've never seen the law, I mean, why haven't?
I've sent
did
the
you
law,
ever
I've
see the
sent the
law?
No,
law.
Mike sent it.
The actual law.
yeah, Mike sent it around.
yeah,
Mike sent it, and I
Yes.
I can,
yeah.
Well,
It says
Yeah.
must be
Got one
funded
paragraph.
accordingly.
It's
Must be
very
funded
short.
one paragraph, I wanna see the whole law.
Well, what does our
You
lawyer
want-
say
you want-
about
you
it?
Well, and that's my second point,
make
We're gonna talk.
let's find out what we've gotta do.
Yeah,
I-
and we have to contest this particular.
So-
Yeah, well, according to,
Annapolis is telling us one thing, and the county commissioners apparently wanted us in 2012 to do something different. They didn't wanna have big reserves, some of the residents did.
And the STD? Reserve in the STD?
Well, I don't know what the county commissioners said back there.
I've never heard of such a.
No.
But it's okay, I mean, if they wanna do that, but how's that affect property owners? Property owners gonna have to pay this.
Well, if we, let me give you a number that I thought was
That's why we
interesting.
need to start from.
190.
They said
Exactly
100, that we should, they want us
Exactly right.
to start in the future for
That's
funding
what
a
I've been
nine,
looking for.
the next year, 2024 reserve, $16.67 per household times nine, per month. And that winds up to be like 16,000 something, and then by 12, that comes out to the 195,000.
Is this called in the study, is where?
This is in the
study.
that they recommended we have 195,000, and they get that by saying you charge $16.67 a month per household, per month. And that's the thing that comes out to 16,000 something, and that times 12 is 195,000. Plus, this list of things in appendix or section D, that they have a whole bunch of things like asphalt paved roads, things that are covered, clearly covered by the STD. It's not clear, they didn't give us any kind of itemized list of how they came up with this number. It sounds,
Have you paid them?
no, well, the
Oh,
study,
for
I
the
don't
study.
know.
Yeah,
Did
actually,
we study?
yeah, because that's the agreement, but once they deliver that draft. I believe I paid, we paid the deposit, and I
But
believe
we
also.
can contest what they.
you know, it just
Well, I
strikes
think
me,
that's what you need to do.
Yeah,
it strikes me that according to the law, we're sort of on the hook. But I think we have to receive it, we have to request an extension. They gave us this report August 23rd.
I think so.
We can't possibly prepare a reply by the end of September. We just have to have an extension. And then we've got to get into explaining that they didn't look at our income streams
Yeah, yeah.
correctly.
yeah.
The fact is the STD comes in, like, right now, it's at about 170.
It's 200 and some thousand.
Yeah.
Oh,
That covers the entire reserve requirement,
We don't call it that, though.
but we don't call it that.
And it's not forward. I mean, they want us to have this reserve
Yeah,
for
but why do
2024.
we can't move it forward, we depend on current year tax
Well, I
returns.
think Jack makes a good point, depending on what the law says.
The law says.
Well, read it, I don't see any
This is the first
exception,
time I've seen it. so-
I don't see any exception in there. Except we can ask,
Well, I'm not saying exception,
No.
what does it actually demand?
well, we can ask our lawyer and see what it says, but
You're
just,
still using, what's his name?
Yeah.
We stopped because of,
Too expensive.
it was so expensive, well, we weren't really
He is
using him
expensive,
or
but he is the
the,
man.
he is the, yeah, he's really
But we,
good.
we
Is
left
that
it
what
open to use him when
We
we
can
wanted.
use him.
We didn't,
Oh.
We simply stopped with the
Retainer.
It's
the
just not a
retainer.
retainer,
I
it's
would
gonna
go
be
to
a
him,
little
I
more
bet he was
costly.
involved in it. I mean, he
He
wrote,
might have been.
he's
He
been
wrote
pretty,
he wrote the
been working with
HOA
the legislature,
legislation and the condo
that's why we hired him.
association.
I mean, the idea that you need a reserve is a good one, but I think we have it de facto from.
But the reserve, well, it's just my
Yeah.
opinion, it depends on what the law says.
Yeah,
But the reserve, you don't need a reserve for the roads because that's funded
right.
through through
But
the
that's-
state.
and
That's on
that
their
is,
list,
the
that's on
county.
their list, how they came up with
And that's,
$190,000.
so that's gotta be broken
and
out.
that's the highest ticket item every year.
So I think we need a clarification of what we really need.
Okay, I think we need a clarification, but also you made a great suggestion that might help us to move this along, so we're not here. You made a great suggestion of that we form a small group. First off, ask for an extension, that's, I think we all agree, we come up with a, probably, if I were doing it in my former life, I would ask for a longer extension than we need, and if they don't give it to us, we get more than we got now. And then form that committee and move on.
Maybe I should just find out, you already have anything, it's the finance
Yes,
committee. This is
yeah.
what I do.
Okay, so you got your finance committee.
So, and I think the board, I would move that the board refer this, the law and everything else to the finance committee
Okay.
for
All right.
action and recommendation and action.
Well, the thing too, we were wondering what happened in 2012, and it's interesting you're saying that they gave you an STD reserve paper and a,
Yeah, as I remember, it was two, it was separate. You should have that.
It is, it's
We
right.
do, it's right here.
Okay.
And I defer, Rhea says she said it repeatedly that it was in two parts, and somehow it didn't
but
register.
this one they gave us was part 2 also.
No, well, it's part two, but
It's
it's.
phase two.
it-
phase
it's phase
two,
two.
okay.
This is two separate studies,
And
Special
it-
Tax District Association.
And it
But
may
this
be
one
that they
has-
did this, the
STD
association, but
stuff
not
in it.
This
STD.
is the first I've heard, I didn't know that there was a
Section
special
D.
tax district. Oh, jeez.
If you look at section D,
Yeah.
it has
I
roads,
know I
it
had
has paths, it
said
has
that at various.
bridges, it
Anyway,
has.
all right, well, look, I guess we've settled it for the moment. The finance committee, I've sort of given my first thoughts of, maybe how we can even tell them why we need the extension and what we're objecting to, but, my thoughts, and Bonnie had some thoughts that she, I think, submitted. And, let's send it all to the finance committee and,
So tomorrow I'll send an email to Mr. Pellegrino and
Yeah.
simply say that we need an extension
Mhm.
while
Yes.
this is,
Yeah.
and not
Yeah,
all
yeah,
this
yeah,
yeah,
detail.
yeah,
Right.
just tell them,
Okay.
that it's impossible.
Okay.
We got it August 23rd, we can't answer.
Where did that date come from? Is that something
From him,
they made
from
up?
him.
It is interesting,
September
whether
3rd.
they're how can they enforce, how do they enforce something?
I don't
like
know.
that?
I
And what is
Some
their
of it is
enforcement
unknown.
wing?
Some of it is in the
That's what the
law.
finance committee will figure out.
Yeah.
Some of it is in the law, I hate to
So we
say it.
know that September 30th was the
Quite sure that was the
law.
one that came in here.
Or-
Well, I don't know if
Is
it
that a
was
Dodson
Miller
or
Dodson or if
law?
that's
I
the
don't know.
law.
Yeah,
I would say probably Miller Dodson, but I can't.
anyway.
But just for guidance for the finance committee too. The way I'm seeing this is that Annapolis is telling us one thing, and the commissioners have, for many years,
Yeah,
wanted
they
us to
have,
do the opposite.
they have a different opinion of approach. I'm not sure they're telling us
Well,
different.
let me say one thing I remember, just flash on this. At one of our STD meetings, and we had it up with the appeal, we asked if we could have money set aside for future, and they denied it,
Hmm.
so.
But according to
But
what
that
we're
was,
being
that was a
told,
whole
they
different
can't,
set of,
they now can't deny us.
Yeah,
well, yeah, but there's a
To
different set of
approve
commissioners
fees and
too.
so on. I
Well,
know, but I'm saying
but-
because it's state
no,
legislation,
but
they
the county,
can't.
can deny the STD.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yes, but they can't deny us setting aside money. If they allow the STD,
Well, yeah.
and they can't deny us to say we're going to increase the rates, none
Oh,
of
that's
that.
the other thing that's in the law, folks. according to the law, we can increase mandatory assessments at will with
No
no
vote.
vote from the membership.
That would
And
be
the
lovely.
first time we do that, I'm out the door.
As a matter of fact, we're required to.
Yeah, I am out the door.
Back to your day.
Revolt, revolt, right.
Well,
Yeah.
and those numbers that he quotes, is that based on 100% compliance with the, I mean,
Well,
that's
no.
not going to happen.
No, because,
I'm just saying.
but the fact that you said there were 975 households,
Well, that's wrong too, and I had that marked down.
You know, but
but that's how
anyway,
that number.
you know, this whole
Okay,
thing
that's what
just,
he used.
What is the right number?
There's 947 developed properties,
Okay.
but there are an additional 400 and something undeveloped. And, but out of all of that, that's about right. So out of all of that though, we're only 80% collection, maybe 81% collection, so
we're doing a little better than the county, aren't we,
Yes.
on tax
I
law?
think it depends on how you look at it.
Oh, well,
The
okay, I'm
undeveloped
sorry.
properties are owned by people though, they're
Oh,
property
they're
owners.
owned, yes, there's 120 or
That
more
doesn't
that
mean,
are not.
doesn't mean they're paying it.
Well, no, but they, it means, but I don't think they have anything that would have to be funded by a reserve fund, because they're undeveloped.
I don't
It's a-
understand the concept.
Well, regardless, they have to pay.
Well, they have to pay their dues, but,
Fees.
but I don't
And
think
their
this law would apply
All
to
right.
them. I don't know.
I think it does.
Folks, we're gonna get, you know, I can see us getting down into the weeds,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
let's have the finance committee take a look at it, at all the stuff that we have, and, come up with some proposed answer to Pellegrino, and maybe what we have to do is just ask them to do the study again, because it is so flawed.
Well, let's face that, if we get our findings,
Oh,
and
yeah,
we have proof. If you have point A, B, C, D, E, then you do request a study.
You have to tell them why it's flawed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really think the biggest problem is they ignored the STD cash flow.
Yeah.
And what the fact that it's earmarked and blah, 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 they ignored it, and,
Well, the other thing too is that they want this reserve fund to be forward for the
Yes.
following year, and I don't understand why we would have to do that.
well, we can do,
Unless-
you know, we can do.
Unless it's because we don't have one now.
Well, yeah, we used to have one, don't we?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah, I mean,
it's like
it's small.
24,000 or so.
Yeah, it's not much,
Yeah.
because
But we don't call it a reserve
Yeah.
fund.
there's not a whole lot here.
Oh, it's for this, but it's for association expenses, like the roof on the house.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Reserve money was.
Well,
used.
that's in the study, that's in
Oh,
the
I'm
study.
going to say, yeah, we do have a reserve, there's about
Okay, well, that's
24
good.
or so
So
thousand.
this is, you know, this is the 2 pages of these little notes. And drinking waste and vent piping for the house,
Oh, okay.
building piping, hot water heater, stuff like that.
Everything's in
We
there.
just replaced the plumbing.
And we just replaced the roof.
And
Well,
remodeling,
They don't care.
5 years, 6
remodeling-
years ago now.
remodeling the bathroom, remodeling the kitchen, you know, I guess they want GE profile appliances.
Well, no, Sub-Zeros.
Oh, Sub-Zeros, oh,
It
whatever.
doesn't say that. You
And
want
Viking stars.
We're making it up. Anyway,
Sorry.
all right, so you know what?
Go ahead, Gary.
Yes, Gary, you wanna, I know you wanna
Good
block,
luck.
so.
I'm sure.
Bye, get out there.
Call
Bye.
me if you need.
Tell Nancy, hey.
Well,
Yeah,
one
Jack.
question. I know you don't wanna belabor a point, just STD, how often do we apply for it?
5 years.
So every 5, so we know
And we
we
just
have
had this-
5 years in front of us
Yeah.
now based on.
Well, actually
was-
just 4 now, but yeah.
4 now, okay, thanks.
Jack, I don't know
Thanks
if
to
you've
your
ever
wife.
read exactly
We got
what the
approved right on
STD
that thing,
says,
right, because she came
what it does
and
and how
testified.
it works,
Good job.
okay? All right, well,
Yes,
we got that out of the way. All right, that's,
Give her the plug, thank you.
An action forward is an action complete.
that's it,
Is that what
that's,
you said it's thinking?
that's right, an
That's
action
what I read.
passed, an action passed is an action complete. Anyway, so that takes care of the president's remarks, and it may take care of a lot more than me. Office update.
Yes. The
That's
audit,
good.
Jack, you wanted to know, am I good? You wanted to know, Jack, when the audit, when they would be here?
Oh, yeah,
Tomorrow. I forgot to tell you.
okay.
But I've been sending them all kinds of documents, and I've been spending time getting other documents together. They'll be here tomorrow at 9:30. I think I have 2 guys coming, Mark and this one, I think. Got our tax bills, slight increase of $42.49 for the office property, $21.81.87 this year. The vacant lot was unchanged at $47.79. the vacant lot across the street, I'm sorry. All the other vacant lots increased by $17.07 to $274.35, total this year, $2,482.17, which is an increase of $59.56 in property taxes. So, I mailed out mid-year statements. We're running a little late here with our meetings, so it's been a while since I did that. And I also included some of those claim documents with the letter explaining, you know, you're running a claim file. And it's helped, it's brought in some money. We got maybe this should go under finance report, but we got a deposit for Shore money of $15,980.79.
That's a lot of money.
Well, that represents September through May of '23. So it's on
I've
here,
never seen it.
but I'm,
Yeah, that's a
well,
lot
I'm
of
going to
money, for
ask
sure.
the accountant tomorrow, because it's last year's money, I think I need to do a journal entry to put it into last year's money. I think. I mean, the balance sheet would stay the same, but it's last year's collections, it's not this year's. It's neither here
So
nor there.
whatever year it's from, the total is 36,860.
Yeah, it's there,
That
because it
is-
accrues.
It's really much more than I ever saw the Shore account.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it's up
That's
there.
What is it normally, like?
We get a couple thousand a month.
Yeah.
So it's not ridiculously high, it's just that it all came in at one time. So, I mean, I'm using the Shore money, it's not like I'm not spending it, but this came in. But if you look at the Shore money on the profit and loss, the other one, the profit and loss, if the accountant has me put it to last year, it won't be on this profit and loss, it would be on the last year's fiscal year. So, but I don't know, he may not have me do that, it just seems to me that he will. So if you guys ever compare these one month to the next or the last, you will perhaps see it disappear. So that's actually a finance thing, I should have put it down. The only other thing I have for office is I've been transitioning the accounts from Community Bank of Chesapeake to Shore United. So that's good. A little bit involved.
Is it?
Well, because you have to download, it sets up a new account in QuickBooks, so then I have to transfer the money from, you know, one account to the other,
I
zero
didn't
out.
realize we were changing banks.
Or not, but they
Got
merged, they got
Ah.
that.
What do they call that?
Shore United?
Sure.
Shore United. So, it's been fairly easy, because I've done that for myself and then also another community that I manage, and they're very quick on the phone to answer questions. So.
Good.
That's it.
That's it? Good. All right, let's see if there's anything on committee reports. How about roads? I just thought, okay, I know we have a roads study projecting what we're gonna do for the next, I forget how
4 more
many
years,
years.
I think 4 more years.
Has anybody looked at extending that beyond that?
No, because we just had Jeff drew that up for us when we went for the special tax district.
Ah,
And because he had done a 4-year, I think a 4 or 5 year schedule.
okay.
And then we were like halfway through it. So because we were going for the special tax district, he's reworked it.
Okay,
So there's still a good 3 or 4 years left on that.
okay, yeah, but I figure when it gets to about 2. we go-
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, no, that's my
Yeah.
only question.
So paving, High Paving was awarded the contract, and I'm sorry, did we approve that
Yes,
last
we
meeting?
did, yes.
I sent out the letters to the affected property owners, about 88 letters. Also, Bay Causeway repair was finally done. Ward's Marine did it on the 15th and so, oh no, actually the first or second week of August. I requested money through the STD to fund that in the amount of $20,836. I requested that money via email on the 24th, got it that same day.
Wow.
That is something to
Like,
point
I
out
was-
to those folks,
Yeah.
that that's how it works. The work was done.
Yeah.
We got the bill, we
Yeah.
presented it to the county paid it.
One size fits all, Tony. They're
I
gonna cram us into their mold.
Hey, I worked for the same government you did.
Okay, the only other thing I have under roads, if anybody recalls at I think the last membership meeting, Somebody wanted to know why can't we have rumble strips? Can't have speed bumps, what about rumble strips? Okay. $1,000, $1,055 for a strip, 96 feet in length. Over $1,000 for, you know, when you go over these little,
Yeah, but
Like
I
that?
thought aren't they just grooved into the street?
But 96
not the ones
feet?
I looked at.
Cool.
We don't wanna cut our street.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
what-
8
We wouldn't
feet.
cut the
No,
street.
it's 96
Where are we,
feet.
Some of the
who's
streets-
asking for these and
Some
where
of
are we
the
gonna put them?
people that lived down that wanted a three-way stop, which turned into a two-way stop and so on and so forth. The slow traffic on some of the streets. I don't know, it seems to me that if we spend $1,000 and
Yeah.
satisfy somebody down here,
Yeah.
somebody up here's
Yeah.
gonna say, why don't we have a rumble strip?
Yeah, I,
And now we're spending how much money? A lot of money.
Yeah.
How many feet are in this coil of?
96 feet
For one.
for one
So that'd be like
section.
eight
Big
different
yard?
sections. I mean, you cut that off, you only need so much.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah, that's what to say.
So that would
Yeah.
take care of
So
8
we're,
or so locations.
Yeah, so maybe one strip, maybe.
oh, I don't know. Okay, so
There's,
there's,
make a good point about it, we do it for them, then we.
And the question is, do we want it, like, when
Yeah.
we're,
Well, that-
No,
that's
one,
the fundamental
I
I
question.
don't think you want it,
No.
and two,
Why don't you want it?
We just put in a stop.
well, you know, I'll tell you what, have you watched the stop signs in the community?
I've sat there and watched, and no, I'm just wondering when
Well,
you
no,
say
no,
you
no,
don't
wait,
want.
well, let me finish.
If the objective is to
Please.
slow down people, I'm just wondering.
They're not
I'm
slowing
wondering,
down or stopping for the stop signs.
Would they stop for just rumble strips?
No,
you know what I can see the teenagers doing?
they go,
you know, and not only that, we're
Sorry,
having,
teenagers.
not only
That's
that,
what I
we've
can
gotten
see.
to the point where I think there's, I'm gonna exaggerate a little, there's almost as many illegal vehicles on our roads as there are legal
We're
vehicles.
talking about the
We
cars.
now have little, we now have little kids on motorized,
Oh, yes.
well, the other thing too I wanted to raise too was just yesterday, this has been a common occurrence. There's a teenager that drives up in a white truck and he gets out, he has 2 motorcycles and he goes flying around.
Is the rumble strips a situation of the vehicle? Saying they're looking for people to slow down. That would be my first question. Is the rumble strips, is the objective of the rumble strips to slow people down?
Yes.
in theory, yes.
In theory.
Well, I mean, no, it's not in theory, that's the purpose.
That
Oh, yeah, that is the
In theory,
purpose.
they work, and
Yeah,
Can I make a suggestion though? Why don't we ask the general membership at the meeting this month? What do you guys think of rumble strips?
fine, fine.
Let's take the temperature.
Because to your point, rumble strips are 96 feet or 8 times X.
Right.
We gotta buy 96 feet of this stuff.
That's the section that I came across.
Boy,
Didn't occur to me that
That's
that's
gonna be a big
for more
truck.
than one
And
area.
how do they put it down?
I have no idea.
Does it affect the
That's
snow
gonna cost
removal or anything like that?
oh,
Yes,
that's a
it
good
will.
point, oh my gosh.
They're
Yes.
below
Well,
the surface. I mean, I don't know, but they are below the surface. And how much was
Below, no,
96
they're not
feet?
below the
Oh,
surface,
they're
they're
not.
on the surface.
They're on the,
Yeah,
is
I
it like when you go off the side of the road?
No,
on
those
a
are
highway?
grooved, those are grooved in.
No, These are on top of.
Yeah.
They're
so
on
it's
top,
skin.
Yeah.
not like the grooved in on the side of the highway or
Actually, that's
something
a good
like that.
point about the snow removal.
That's right, you know, the snow
That
removal is,
doesn't make any sense.
I could see the snowplow digging one up.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
exactly
okay.
right. That's exactly right.
Maria, is it possible to see what a rumble strip looks like or is?
Maybe we
Yeah,
can
Be
do
able
some
to
research
quote
on
it?
it before we bring it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, they don't
right
bring it
now,
up.
I'm thinking it's those things on the side. You're saying it's on top of
Yeah.
the snow plow house.
Yeah, we can't groove
Yeah,
our
we-
streets.
I
They're
think Josh is
not
right, we don't wanna
roads.
bring it up if we don't wanna give the wrong answer.
No.
Well, I think we should do some research and find out how effective they are, and
Yeah,
how are they put
interfere
down?
with snow removal, all that kind of thing.
Okay, so I'll look for pictures
And
and
I think we need a company to do it, maybe the paving company does this, because they're gonna charge a fair amount too.
Oh, yeah,
Even if we bought this 96-foot
Oh, yeah.
coil of stuff.
the implementation is.
Yeah, that's the other thing, you put it down and it's still gonna have to be
It's gonna be
maintained.
another 1,000,
Yeah.
so 1,092, did you say?
1,055.
May I ask you a question? What are there, is there some other alternative at that stop sign? I guess this is still becoming a problem with these kids coming this week.
Well, the other
Is
six,
it- Is it a problem?
I don't know. That's why I asked.
The
Yeah.
kids were gone all summer. I can tell you, because I live right around the corner from this intersection. All the kids were gone, I don't know where they were.
No, they're not all gone because
Well, they're
I,
back now.
I've been walking the street, but it's not
Walking the streets.
as big of a issue, I don't
Yeah,
think.
As they make it.
Perhaps not,
But
maybe.
the problem is, there's always like an outlier, there's always like, most of the people are, you know, doing the right thing, but there's always one person who comes flying around and.
So the people on that house that used to belong to Russ, somebody or other?
Belonged to Dave Lundwald at one time.
Oh, Dave
Belonged to
Lundwald,
one
yeah.
groups after
It
that.
was, so it's a, yeah, I know which one it is.
So the only other suggestion that was made at that same meeting, no, was the stop signs, but then since then, somebody suggested we paint, you know, like a strip, a reflective strip in front of the stop signs.
Yeah.
So I priced
That's not
that,
a bad idea.
I was gonna just ask about that.
and that's between $50 and $90 a gallon, and Joe said he thinks he can put that down.
And that's just across the street.
Yeah, because the stop sign is a little bit, like, when you don't see it right at
Yeah,
first,
Joe
you have to
tried
get
to-
right up to it
There's
to
the
see it.
vegetation.
Yeah.
Now that Joe's trimmed it, it's much
Much
better.
better.
Yeah, but I think,
Well, let's, you know,
Should I go
everybody in
ahead
favor
and
of painting the strip
let's
across
look
the
into
I
street?
think we can do that.
Well, look into
Yeah,
it, do you want me
let's-
to order the paint, or do you want, there's no other research that I know of, this is the cost, and Joe can put it down.
I would do it.
Does
You
anybody
just
want
put
to
it
make a
down
motion?
in the next space and to start it out with, and then.
Yeah.
Anybody want to make a
I
motion?
make a motion to approve putting.
At that intersection.
At that
Is there a
intersection.
second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye. And the good news
Opposed?
about that, oh, sorry,
No.
I'm sorry, well, the good news about that.
Diane, you got to vote, just vote.
Yes, Diane, and Susan, but, the good news is, and then we can go to that annual meeting and say, we've put in a stop sign,
And
we've done
we're painted.
And we're
this,
Right.
and, you know, and then I know who's gonna say, and, not anyone in this room, but I know who will also say, and you homeowners have a responsibility to monitor your children.
Oh,
I didn't know who's gonna
I
do
know
it.
who's
Yeah,
gonna
I
say
know.
I do
that.
too, it's okay.
Or I'm
Well,
gonna
you know,
come around the
it's
corner,
true, it
and I'm
should
gonna
be.
blow the
I mean,
whole.
there should be a balance there.
I did put something in the
You
newsletter
did,
that
yeah.
said, and yes, you may have to slow down to 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, hey, I put it in the newsletter too, please, you know,
Just
school
let it-
started, the kids are
Well,
playing
you know,
outside.
I had an experience that wasn't great. I was walking the dogs and someone came up to me and said, "Are you on the board?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, did you guys put that stop sign? Are you guys the ones who put that stop? Why did you do that?" And I said, "Well, because we want people to slow down."
Were you talking to Martha?
No, but someone in our neighborhood.
Yeah,
And so I got all the
Oh, I know who you're talking-
and
I
I
know
was
who-
like,
I think
okay.
I know who it is.
But, you know, we're just trying to be safe, you know, and that's all I said, you know, I was like, we're just trying to make a
Yeah, no.
safer intersection.
people hated the three-way stop
Yeah.
when it went in, and one man, I'm sure I told you guys this, he came in, we were talking, blah, blah, blah. I refused to stop at that, because it was not necessary.
Don't stop, okay, don't stop.
So if you don't stop and you hit a kid, you know you are gonna get ticketed, right?
Ticketed.
More than that.
Well,
gonna
more
get
than
more
that,
than
but I'm
that.
just saying,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you don't wanna stop.
I don't care if it's
stop.
stop.
Don't give
Don't
me a
stop.
headache.
No, this is being recorded, never mind.
Retract that statement.
I retract it.
You can't force
You
people
can't
to
force
stop.
people to do things.
That's why
You
they
just
have policemen issuing tickets all over the world. You can't make people stop.
can't.
All right,
Okay, That's
moving on.
all,
That's all.
that's it on there.
Jack, finance.
I was out of town, I didn't get a chance to look at the accounts
Pretty
today.
low.
But
Well-
we're doing this intensively when we do this.
Yeah,
reserve
and I wouldn't worry about exactly what happened this month,
Yeah,
because you just got a new task. and it's
Just some ideas about what we might do with this next steps in reserve. I'll find a date and get a hold of all of the finance committee members and float a date with them, see what works or previous set of
Yeah,
dates.
and let me
What's
know,
the best date?
yeah, let me know when it is, and if I can possibly make it, I will. The next couple of weeks are idiotic for me, but.
But we gotta give it 2 weeks, right, Rhea? What is the rule?
What, notifications?
Yeah.
No, I would post it on the website, and like on Friday, Friday before, a few days before you meet, I would put a notification on the website that the finance committee was meeting.
Is it like a requirement? to
I
just
think
let
it
them
is,
know right
because we're the STD, we come under Open Meetings
now?
Act.
Gotcha, okay, that makes sense.
So,
Just give me a few days' notice and I'll do that.
okay, so be on the lookout
Okay.
for a message. Okay, Bonnie?
Now that we've asked this year for Phragmites treatment, I just have one thing, which is kind of interesting, because we're always worried about invasive species here. In the Chesapeake Bay magazine, there's an article, and I'll send it out to everybody, it's short. Blue crab invasive in Italy. Chesapeake Bay crab got its way somehow.
Really?
Yeah, in Italy. And there's a guy that, an Italian man that lived here with a Maryland family for a while. He knew what to do, so he's trying to teach people how to fish. And these crabs are like a pound. They're huge. They're much bigger than,
Where in
they're
Italy?
living well there.
Where in Italy?
Good food supplies.
So I'll send that out because I thought that was
That's
so
hilarious.
interesting.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then the fishing industry is very upset because other things are
Oh, yeah, killing them.
killing them all, yeah.
Anything else? Miss Bonnie?
Anything else? Well, you probably saw in the newsletter, this Aaron Italicum.
Oh, yeah. If people go to the store and buy the plants.
Well, it seems like it would be illegal to sell them if they're like a trouble.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
But
Somebody's
it's
gonna
not.
have to declare it, or some government agency would have to.
Well, and
declare it.
Jenny, although she's not a master gardener, she did a lot of classes, she said last month that there's like a hierarchy. And it has to be, I don't know what makes it be illegal
Mhm.
versus we don't recommend it,
Right.
Yeah,
but there is
As
a
opposed to
list.
we're trying to kill it.
it sounds like this is so awful. Yeah. That's all I have.
Anybody here to represent the safety committee?
When I talked with John today, he said that he's going to come in and take a look to see what's in the back room, and I'm gonna give him the latest list, which is pretty outdated, of the committee members. And I told him he may have to contact everybody individually. That Maggie had tried to get responses, in the past couple of years regarding, are we still interested in being on the committee? And she just couldn't get much response.
Okay, well, you might just tell John that if he has issues, I don't know if he's ever been to a full membership meeting, he might just raise it there if he needs more.
Oh, that's a good
members,
idea, yeah, that's
Just
a
so
good
he's
idea.
prepared for the end of the month.
I'll tell him that.
Yeah, the welcoming committee.
There are a couple of buckets in the back that are ready to be distributed. I think I have just 2 left. I've distributed in the past month, I don't remember, 2 or 3. We have most of what we need to assemble 8 buckets.
Okay.
We need to pick up a few items. So I'll send out an email
Okay, yeah, I'll be here.
when I've got those
Yeah.
2 others. And that's it.
Yeah, I won't be here, 21st to the 28th, and I'll miss the general meeting,
Okay.
but otherwise I'll be here for.
Well, I'll send an email to all the people that do it and just, come back with that.
Planning committee, Mike's not here. The big thing is, as Rhea pointed out, the beach work has started. And somehow, I think that the planning committee should somehow be involved with this. Well, Mike, does Mike say on the finance stuff?
I think he is on the finance committee.
Good, then, all right, and I'll try, like I said, I'll try to attend if I can.
So I just, update on the beach, I met with, I'm at the beach this morning at 10 with Ron Babcock from Soil Conservation Service of the county, and then Glenn Gass from Coastline Design was there, and 2 guys from Resource Restoration Group, which is the contractor doing the work. And I don't know if you've been down at the beach lately, take a drive by.
A couple days.
Great big rocks had all over the place and some smaller ones, and I asked one of the guys from the contractor, is this everything? He said, oh no, you're gonna get like X number more tons of these great big rocks. But what was really interesting, I thought, Glenn showed me the plans and so on, and explained some of it to me, I won't go into detail. But the man who actually operates the machinery that'll place those large rocks said that he doesn't just put them in there willy-nilly. He looks at them like, oh, look, this will fit with that one. And he tries to, get them to,
Puzzle.
yeah, and he said kind of like a puzzle. And so then he showed me some pictures of some they've done in the past. And it's not smooth on the top, but yet it's quite flat as can be. Because I asked about, what if kids crawl, kids are going to crawl up over these rocks and so on. What are the chances they could dislodge anything? He said, oh, they can't dislodge it. There's no way.
It sounds like, have you ever seen one of those freestanding stone walls in New England countrysides?
Oh, yeah.
They're all placed
yeah.
by hand, and it looks like how did they do that?
Yeah.
And they're not even glued or anything.
Nope.
Yeah,
They're just-
quite impressive,
Yeah,
actually,
yes.
quite impressive. So that was, the work should take maybe 2 weeks or so.
Good.
They've been working early to late.
He
They
said
were,
that,
when I came up here, they were still out there, I actually took a picture of
yeah,
it.
he said their workday is generally 7 until 6.
Yeah, they were out there.
Awesome.
I reminded them to, close the gate, and I've got the woman that does the beach patrol scheduling, Shirley Bean. I asked her if she would just sort of drive by and make sure that gate got closed, because I went last week and there were a couple of women out on the beach sunning themselves, and I'm like, no. So, yeah, we closed that all up, but that's it.
All right, unfinished business, the reserve study. Well, it's unfinished, but we did it.
Can I just add one thing, just read off the members of the Reserve, Finance Committee, so that we all know. Me, Mike Snap, Bonnie Blades, Jen Swartwood, Mike Chaconis, and Susan Morgan. 2 public members, and the rest of the board.
So Mike becomes some, do you think?
I don't know.
He was on that committee before he became a board
That's
member,
true.
so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I talked to him, I talked to people, and they didn't want to be on it,
Oh.
whether they're going to work or not.
Oh.
Okay, good. Well, the reserve study, we did as much on that as we can. The Christmas box thing, I understand, I don't know what it is, but I understand no more information has been presented, so there's
Correct.
nothing to really talk about.
Basically, and I'll contact her tomorrow. This woman, I cannot recall her name, I apologize, contacted me to ask if she could do what she called a Christmas box here at the office. And I think what that means is kids would write their letters to Santa, put them in the box, she will respond to them as Santa. So that's quite an undertaking. Maybe she has a group, I don't know. But she was going to get me more information and has not. So,
Well, okay.
And one more thing is, that on the web, on the Facebook page, that isn't part of our board effort, but there is a yard sale scheduled for the 16th of, I guess it's the 7th, and I don't know exactly where it is, but
I think there's several locations. I think Chris put something on Facebook about it, but,
I'm not involved with.
yeah, we're not involved.
so we're not involved, but it's nice that the community is doing these things, the spontaneous kind of
When is
efforts.
cleanup day?
Cleanup day is the 30th of September, which is from 8:30 until 2. Anybody that can help would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I'm gonna-
You're always there buying things.
Well, I'm gonna drive down from New York, just like,
Or, barring that, you could take that dehumidifier to Jack's house.
I got other stuff though. I got all
Or you
kinds
could
of,
bring it here.
I got all kinds of junk. I got
No. He wants to throw
chairs,
it away.
I got chairs, it's more than that.
Okay.
If that
But
was
you
all,
can even bring it here. I mean,
oh yeah, it'll sit here for 2 or 3 weeks, it'll fill up the room.
don't put it up by the shed. I'm just saying, if you can't, just a thought. Okay.
Okay, then the quick claim for repairing rights for,
This is at the end of River Terrace by Chris and Tara. Thank you. I'm so tired. It's been a long day. And it's a typical repairing rights. So if anybody wants to see the map, I didn't send them out this time. I didn't write them down. River Terrace, if you go down, Beretta turns left into Overlook. Before you get to the club gate, on the right is River Terrace.
That's the
So
place-
it's the last house on the
That's a
left.
place that had all that fragmites that we never got, that we finally got.
No, that was Lake Terrace.
Oh, Lake Terrace,
This
not
is River Terrace.
Okay, this is where we
And
had
he's-
the problem with the teenagers going down there.
Right, and we had to put it right away because the people were
Yeah.
parking all over it.
Yeah.
But Chris said that it was just a question of redoing their stone wall. And the county now wants the quitclaim. Years past, they did.
Okay,
And
Anybody
so
have
I
any
don't know
questions,
if I find anything to object to.
anybody, well, then we can pass.
Well, here's the actual, document, but it's the same as all, it's,
Do we need a motion?
yeah.
Thank you very
What do you
much.
guys know?
I motion to approve the quitclaim.
All in favor? Or no, we need a second first.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
I don't know.
All
I
right,
haven't either.
okay, that's
We're all
done.
going confused.
Now the next thing we have to do is
Next meeting.
next meeting.
Okay.
First Tuesday is the 3rd. Does that work for everybody?
I won't be able to be here in person, but I can call in.
Just
Anybody?
remind me that you're doing.
Okay.
Anybody else can't make the 3rd?
I think I'll be here.
I think I'll be here.
Let's do it.
Okay,
I'm later in the month.
October 3. Very, very good. Anything else before we dismiss? Very good. Thank you very much. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.